Boxers, as we send it to our ring announcer, Paul LaFleur.
Here is the co-feature heavyweight event of the evening, scheduled for 10 rounds. Introducing, first of all, in the red corner, he hails from Marietta, Florida. He's wearing blue trunks with white trim. He has a professional record of 17 wins, 2 losses, with 11 KOs. He weighed in at 210 pounds. Would you please welcome Jeff Wooden? And his opponent directly across the ring in the blue corner. He hails from Norristown, Pennsylvania. He's wearing silver trunks trimmed with black. He has a professional record of 22-0 with 16 big knockouts. He weighed in at 244 pounds. Would you please welcome Mike Grant? The referee for this bout is Dick Picozzi. 10 rounds, heavyweights.
Let's take a look at the rules in the state of New York. 3 knockdown rule in effect. Standing 8 count in effect. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Physician may stop the fight. 10-point must system. 3 judges will score the fight. And ring announcer Paul LaFleur has just set a television record for the longest introductions in boxing history. 29-year-old Jeff Wooden, 17-2, 11 knockouts. Ali has an Army background, fighting out of Fort Bragg. And yesterday we asked him about the Army influence, and he said all the discipline and hard training has translated itself right into the pro game.
Very important match for him. You see, he comes out as the southpaw. This is by far the, I think not by far, but the biggest match for Jeff Wooden. He's been in against some decent people before. Beat Frankie Swindell. Big win for him was against Melvin Foster earlier this year, but this one is the one he's been pointing to.
And Michael Grant is gigantic, 24 years of age, 6'7". As far as first round knockouts are concerned, Wooden has 5. He had 4 straight to start his career. His last one came 1 year, 10 months, and 1 day ago against Alvin Ellis.
That was good.
And there's the knockout ratio in general. And Grant, of course, with the better ratio at 16 knockouts in 22 fights. He has 7 first-round knockouts. The last one he had was in January of 1996 against Rick Sullivan. He's gone 6 straight without a first-round knockout.
His last bout was televised on The Deuce on ESPN2. You and I were there for it. Ray Ennis was the opponent, and it was not Michael Grant's greatest moment. It was a slightly flawed performance. He won over 10 rounds, but I don't think they were thrilled with what he ended up doing in that bout.
You're free. Punch way out.
But he's a young man who's very earnest in his approach to this sport. He was a baseball player, decided to choose boxing instead. He's worked very hard at it, so we'll see how that work is paying off.
Ali even was offered a tryout with the Rams, and Grant down, but that is a slip.
Give me your glove.
Dick Picozzi, the referee, wants to check out Grant's gloves and ask him if he's okay.
Yeah, he is an excellent all-around athlete, as you point out.
We asked Wooden yesterday about the size differential, and he said, hey, the bigger they are, the slower they are. It's not always the case, but it sounds great.
Now, there's body work by Wooden. Very good idea on his part. Now, one of the things is you don't see too many lefties as a heavyweight, and so heavyweights often have trouble with left-handers. The first of what will be 2. Oh, man, is Wooden hurt with that right hand? I think he was.
Then another short right to follow it up.
This is the first of 2 righty-lefty matchups. The Salud-Kelly matchup will be the same.
Good body work by Grant.
You're free. Punch your way out. You're free. Don't hold his head.
Wooden turned professional in May of '94. Grant in July of '94. Both late bloomers, so to speak.
Don't hold his head.
Grant is using a very good weapon, the uppercut on the inside against Wooden.
Final seconds of round number 1, scheduled for 10. Mike Grant and Jeff Wooden on ESPN's Championship Boxing.
Rock and roll.
Michael Grant in round 1, working that uppercut and the hook to his advantage against Jeff Wooden.
They get set for the start of round number 2. Jazzy Jeff Wooden and Michael Grant. Grant in the silver trunks, Wooden in the blue and white. Huge difference in size.
Ironically, Jeff Wooden, though he's the shorter of the two, probably more of a basketball player. Basketball is one of his passions. He loves to play basketball when he's not boxing.
Also likes to spend time with the family and go to a movie. Says he loves comedies, but you know he's facing a tough task tonight at 6'1", going against a boxer in Grant who's 6'7". Yesterday we asked Wooden about dealing with some of the shortcomings.
I've seen a lot of his fights. The other heavyweight did is stand right there in front of him. If I stood right there in front of him, I'd be fighting his fight. You know, so why should I want to stand right there in front of him? I'm gonna give him different angles, you know, different positions, you know, different moves, make him think a little bit, you know, see how crafty he is in his mind. And I'm gonna constantly move, you know. I'm gonna be stepping around him, moving, sticking my jab on him, showing some different angles. I think a lot of heavyweight he fought before just stood right there for him, you know. I think a blind person can hit somebody if he's standing right there in front of him, but if he moves, start giving him different angles, different positions, it'll be a lot tougher for him. And that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna use his size to my advantage, and that's what I meant by that.
Well, unfortunately, Jeff Wooden isn't doing that, what he said. There he did, but mostly he is in front of Grant, and he's negated his southpaw advantage a little bit because of that.
Snap it out. Footwork is very important. Righty against lefty.
It is indeed. In most cases, if you're a right-handed fighter, you want to keep your left foot outside the right foot of the southpaw. And there you get a good example of how Grant, see his left foot? He wants to keep that on the outside of the right foot of Wooden, if at all possible. And primarily, he's done that in this match. That's why that jab landed right there. Normally, you don't land a jab against a left-hander.
Nice job by director Lenny Stucker.
In Robbie Viner working their magic in the truck.
Body shot by Grant.
Those were two beautiful body shots by Grant.
Final seconds of round 2. These are heavyweights. Mike Grant and Jeff Wooden.
Good morning.
Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York. ESPN's Championship Boxing for this Friday night. Glad you can join us. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein. Our main event, Kevin Kelly defends his WBU Featherweight Championship against Jesus Salud. In the ring right now, Mike Grant and Jeff Wooden in a scheduled 10-round heavyweight affair.
Okay, you know, Jeff Wooden has landed 33 of his 51 power shots, and most of those have been to the body. He's done a pretty good job to the body. He really has Grant as well. It's been fairly close rounds. First round I thought was dominant for Grant. And there you see how close it is in the total numbers. Grant throwing a lot more, but not landing that many more.
Grant has 2 third-round knockouts. Wooden has 1. 13 of Grant's 16 knockouts occur within the first 3 rounds.
One thing that Grant isn't really doing that you really want to do against a southpaw is throw the left hook. You got the straight right hand in, but you really want to try and get the hook. There it is. And step to your left a little bit more.
There you go.
Jazzy Jeff is having problems keeping his trunks up, while Mike Grant has his well above the waistline.
And I have not seen boxers use gray gloves, and I don't remember when. But in Michael Grant's case, it's good because it goes with the silver motif. Just call me the Liz Claiborne of boxing, okay?
Or Mr. Blackwell?
Yeah, I think I prefer Liz Claiborne. Grant is getting the straight right hand in a bit, even though he's really moving the wrong way. Michael Grant really should be stepping to his left a little bit more. And there you see the footwork. Grant is still keeping his foot outside the right foot of Wooden, only because Wooden is making no attempt to move to his right, which would be a good idea for him. Really, both men are doing some strategic things here that are making the fight more difficult for them.
In 1996, Grant was quite busy. 8-0 with 5 knockouts.
A moment ago, you saw Wood move to his right, and he landed a straight left hand to Grant. He should be moving to his right, and Grant should be moving to his left. Whichever guy starts to do that the first could be the guy that takes control of the fight. He hurt Grant with that body shot.
I don't know, Al, if he hurt him. It was pretty low. And Grant got a little twisted up. Come to the end of round 3. ESPN's championship boxing from Albany, New York. Round number 4 underway in the heavyweight division. Mike Grant of Norristown, Pennsylvania, and Jeff Wooden of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, born in Marietta, Florida. Grant was born in Chicago. And they begin round number 4. A pretty close fight as far as the numbers are concerned now.
Yeah, it is. Both men have been about on the same level of effectiveness. Neither has taken control of this fight. Both have threatened to do so on a couple of occasions. Here comes Wooden trying to get some things happening on the inside.
Wooden has 2 fourth-round knockouts. Grant has 1. Punches in round 3, and you see Grant with the better percentage. That was a big left hand over the top from Wooden.
Very low by Wooden. Now, part of it is those chunks are very high for Michael Grant. There's the combinations from Grant that on occasion we have seen when we've watched him fight, but they don't come that often.
A low blow there from Wooden. That was from the thigh.
Jeff Wooden is throwing a lot of punches below the belt. Even though those trunks are high, some of them are really low. Michael Grant is fighting Wooden as if he were a righty. He's getting away with some of it because Wooden isn't doing the things he needs to make his left-handed stance work for himself.
Step back, no punching. Step back, please.
Al, correct me if I'm wrong, but Grant at that 6'7", sometimes he brings it on, and other times he sort of lays back. He reminds me a little of Lennox Lewis.
A smidge, yeah. Although I think Lennox Lewis is, I think, more consistent, obviously, in his effort. Though clearly there have been moments when Lennox Lewis has faded in and out during fights.
Seems like Grant has those lulls.
Yeah, very much so. Much more than Lewis.
That's why I said a smidge.
A smidge. I'll go along with him. Or perhaps a tad.
Grant being warned for holding behind the head of Wooden.
This could easily turn into one of those heavyweight fights where there's a lot of grappling and holding, although both men are still throwing punches.
To the end of round number 4.
These are tough rounds to score. Neither man getting a lot done, but just enough.
And Grant and Wooden dance to the end of the round. Mild applause. We take it to the corner of Mike Grant. Don Turner is trainer, manager Bill Caton.
You got to make the guy
Michael
work.
Grant is 22-0 in his career with 16 knockouts. He's 24 years of age, and he hopes to eventually make his mark. We had a chance to ask him where he feels he fits in the heavyweight landscape.
I really don't know when a flower is going to bloom, but you know that it is going to bloom. And that's how I see myself. I look at Ray Mercer, I look at Galata, Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, Michael Moore, Von Beam, that fight's coming up. I see those guys, and I remember when me and some of those guys, you know, when I was just coming up in my career of boxing, and they took a step up. So I know sooner or later, like I was telling you 2 or 3 fights away, that I'll be taking that step up. And I see myself looking them directly in the eye and not looking at them like there's a mountain that I have to climb. I'm looking like over that mountain right now. And I see myself right there standing toe to toe with those guys. Not just in fighting wise, but mentally wise and physical wise also.
The words of Michael Grant as round number 5 is underway with Jeff Wooden.
He mentioned Vaughn Bean, who of course is going to be fighting contemporary of his, fighting Michael Moore on March 29th. Joe Frazier now training Bean. I'm going to have a chance to visit with Joe this Saturday night at the All-Star Cafe, where my new radio show is. And I think that Joe Frazier, they say, is working some wonders with Vaughn Bean, and he might be surprising against Michael Moore. We'll have to see.
Nice plug.
I like to sneak those in from time to time. Did I mention it was this Saturday at the official All-Star Cafe? I think I may have.
That would be in Las Vegas.
Yes, that would be in that official All-Star Cafe. From the Dick Vitale School of Broadcasting. Wooden landed 30 of 46 power shots. Many to the body in the last round.
Dickie V and the fellas, Digger and Dale Brown. Back at the Sports Center studio tonight. Of course, we'll have the entire recap of today's action in the tournament.
Very exciting doings there as well.
A right hand, a glancing right hand from Grant, and then Wooden fires back with a shot of his own.
Michael Grant getting nailed against the ropes. Was he hurt by any of those? He's doing some holding. Very awkward action here.
The corner of Wooden saying, press him, don't wait. But he is.
We have two heavyweights who are, at the moment, reluctant to really take control of this bout. Each man threatens to do so at various times.
Wooden seems to be the more willing of the two to fight in this round.
He has gone after Michael Grant. When Grant can keep him in the center of the ring and use the jabs and some of the other punches at long range, he's effective, and especially when he mixes in the left hook.
Final seconds of round 5. Scheduled for 10. Grant and Wooden on ESPN's Championship Boxing. Round number 6 underway in the scheduled 10-round heavyweight bout from the Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein, Mike Grant in the silver trunks, Jeff Wooden in the blue.
You know, there is talk that Michael Grant might well get a shot against Tim Witherspoon. And I'll tell you what, Jeff Wooden's landing 54% of his punches. Too many punches, really, for somebody to be landing against you if you're going to go in against Tim Witherspoon next time, because Witherspoon punches with big authority, and he'll hurt you.
Clubbing right over the top from Wooden. Now another warning for Grant for holding behind the head. That's about the 4th warning for him. There's Don Turner, the trainer of Mike Grant. He's got to be concerned by what he's seeing.
Well, it's a very close fight that his man is allowing to be close. Not really taking the initiative. Turner, of course, along with Tommy Brooks, part of the architect of Evander Holyfield's victory over Mike Tyson.
Get close! There you go again!
What a year, Tommy Brooks.
Wow, yeah. Jimmy Jones. He's a very fine trainer, Tommy is.
I was in Grant's corner. I'd be concerned, too, about this talk of him being able to step up against the more elite in the heavyweight division. I think he'd get annihilated.
He's not showing it right now, that's for sure. And, of course, he's in there against the lefty. Not always the best matchup, but that's not all of it, though. Because Wooden is able to get some things done that doesn't have to do with even his southpaw style. And you talked about the sporadic effort of Grant. Michael Grant turns it on at various times during rounds, then seems to turn it off.
Now trying some laser body shots.
That one was a little low.
That was a hook to the Jeff in the trunks of Jazzy Jeff. Right, they should pull those blue trunks up.
What Michael Grant is doing here normally doesn't work too well against the lefty. He's getting away with it a little bit, the jab and the straight right hand.
Okay, quick, stop. Step back, please.
Left hand from Wood.
If Michael Grant were to throw left hooks, take a step to his left and throw some hooks, he would really get something done against Wooden.
Hook to the body by Wooden. Round 6 coming to an end. Wooden and Grant.
When asked.
Round number 7 underway from Albany, New York. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein. These are heavyweights. Mike Grant in the silver, Jeff Wooden in the blue. Don't forget our main event to come. Kevin Kelly defends his WBU featherweight championship against Jesus Salud. And now very tight fight through 6.
There is concern in both corners about their men. We listened in while we were away, and both feel that their man needs to really step it up.
Wooden has been past round 6 times. Some body shots by Wooden.
For Michael Grant, only 3 times has he been past the 6-round limit, so for him, he's in territory he's not all that familiar with. Now, Don Turner has a theory about fighting lefties. He says you fight them just like righties. I totally and completely, absolutely disagree with that. He thinks you can get away with the jab, the straight right, just adjust your angle very slightly. Grant is kind of getting away with that here, but see, look what happens when you mix in the hook and you take a step to your left, which I think is the proper way to fight a lefty. There are the numbers, with Wooden actually having a little bit of an edge in the total numbers, but you see how close it is. I think it's imperative at some point to get to your left, where at least it will make that straight right hand get in. And you've got to mix in some left hooks against the lefty, or else you're not going to get the job done. I think it's why Evander Holyfield lost to Michael Moore. He didn't fight him right. Didn't know how to fight a lefty. Wooden starting to crank up the right hook a little bit to the head of Michael Grant. And he's committed to that body work. Not everything is landing, mind you. But he is committed to working that body.
Enough is landing, isn't it?
Wooden leaning and jumping in, but not getting hit with any counter punches there.
It's supposed to show you why physique is not the most important thing in boxing either when you take a look at the two. Grant, I think he's chiseled out of granite.
You know, this body work by Wooden could be paying some dividends as we head into this final round. I don't know if the judges are giving him as much credit for it as, let's say, CompuBox. They count those body shots. But I'll tell you what, Wooden is really digging downstairs on the inside.
Closing seconds of round 7. Grant with a late flurry.
How much younger do you want?
That he's going to get back into hockey, playing with Syracuse in minor league hockey. The Legends of Hockey, a must-see here on ESPN.
How old is Gordy Howe now? He's got to be 60.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. You know what, though? George Foreman may still be fighting for the heavyweight title when he's 60, so maybe not such a big deal. Nice uppercut there by Grant. Don't you get the feeling as you look at this bout that it's especially true in Grant's case, if he were to really try and impose his will, he could get the job done here. There's a nice uppercut. He's hurt Wooden, I think, or stunned him on 2 or 3 different occasions.
a scheduled 10-rounder. Short right from Grant.
Grant really trying to now utilize that uppercut effectively, and it's a good weapon against a shorter fighter who's staying on the inside.
Now let's take a look at your card after 7 rounds.
I have Grant ahead by 1 point. Very close bout. Really could go either way.
I have Wooden up by 1 point.
Well, there you are.
There you go. Hard 7. Hard 7.
Neither man has really gone out and taken it. But both have gotten their share of things done in this bout. But if either man wanted this bout to be a breakout match, one that demonstrated they were ready to step up in the heavyweight division, in truth, and I think it's an objective thing to say, neither man has gotten that.
That got a new out of the crowd. Short little uppercut from Grant.
Wooden is working, but Grant is landing the sharper punches, I think, on the inside. His are sharp, good punches, even though Wooden is flailing away in there and landing some to the body.
Okay, you're in 2-3, guys.
Wooden seems a bit tired as we come to the final 45 seconds of round 8.
Grant mixes in the rare left hook, and it lands. I assure you, if Grant would throw that hook to the body and the head, it would land. There it is. All he has to do is throw left hooks. That's all Michael Grant has to do is take a step to his left and start throwing hooks. There he got hit with a low blow.
Looked like it was more on the thigh. It was low, no question about it. And I think Grant will use this opportunity to catch his breath, which might not be the best move because I think Wooden was the one who was more fatigued.
See, look what happens when Grant mixes in that hook. All he has to do is just keep throwing that punch, and he'll win. He'll win big. And he's doing well in this round. Grant is holding, and that's part of the reason why those low blows are coming.
Final seconds of round 8.
For the last 5
man.
The corner of Mike Grant and trainer Don Turner.
Go for broke, man. Gamble. You hear what I say, man? Gamble. Combination punches, not 1 or 2 punches at a time, man.
Here's where Michael Grant got hit low by Jeff Wooden. Hey, that was in a bad spot.
Yeah, that was not on the thigh. That was in a bad spot.
And Grant was able to persevere. Now, Don Turner feeling it's very close, and his man needs to really go out and make something happen. Nice work by Grant on the inside.
He's saying go for broke.
Yeah, and gamble, but gamble with what? What exact punches and what should be thrown? I think that would have been a nice message to give him.
It's like a team being down in hockey by 1 or 2 goals and the coach calling a timeout saying, come on, we got to score.
Yeah, that's evident. Right hook by Wooden gets in. I don't think it hurt Grant, but it did get there.
And it gets a rise out of the crowd.
But I'll tell you, Wooden is leaving himself wide open, and he's getting whacked with left hooks. And it wasn't a knockdown, but he was stunned. Jeff Wooden still has a dazed look in his eye. And what hurt him? The left hook. Why they're not telling Grant to throw that left hook more often, I can't even imagine.
Well, can Michael Grant finish Jeff Wooden?
Wooden came on strong, but he paid the price because he walked into punches.
Grant has only been past round 8 twice.
You're free. Come on. You're free. Hold on. Okay, break, step back and don't punch.
I have Grant ahead by 2 points in this bout, and if this round keeps going the way it is, he'll be ahead by 3 on my card. But nice uppercut. There's the hook, which he's not throwing with conviction, but Grant is still getting it in.
Round from Mike Grant. And I think that attack of Wooden left him open, as you pointed out, Al.
Step back, don't punch.
And wound up doing more damage than good.
He really did, because he left himself wide open to get hit with some uppercuts and some hooks and some straight right hands. And if Michael Grant had fought a better strategic fight here, who knows, but then he might already be raising his hands in victory.
back and punch, guys. You guys are free.
Grant has done quite a bit of holding behind the head. He has not lost any points for that. Oh, good uppercut by Grant.
He threw the hook and it set up the uppercut.
Stop right. Just step back. Don't punch. Come on.
And that's the one thing Michael Grant has done well in this bout against the shorter guy. Use the uppercut effectively. See, there's the combination against the lefty. Right hand, right up, left hook, right uppercut. That's what you want to do.
Okay, break. Stop punching. Stop punching.
It's been a big round for Grant.
He's still very tight with his punches in his arm.
Okay,
He
break.
really let him go.
Step back.
Final seconds of round 9, the 10th and final round to come. Even more. Kevin Kelly loosening up. He's fighting in our main event as he defends his WBU Featherweight Championship against Jesus Salud. The 10th and final round underway in our first bout. In this heavyweight division, Mike Grant and Jeff Wooden. Grant in the silver. Big round 9 for Grant.
And they told Jeff Wooden in no uncertain terms, you have to knock him out. You will lose the decision. We certainly feel that, or I do. And I think that in the last round, Grant landing 47 of 73 punches, 64%, but Wooden landed 61%, 31 of 51, but just not getting enough on them.
If Wooden can mount a final attack.
Wooden pushes his punches a lot, and that is part of his problem.
Under 2 minutes to go in the 10th and final round. Hard right from Grant.
Another low blow by Jeff Wooden.
Keep up now.
Well, Michael Grant has finished strong here in this 10-round bout. Whether he has done enough to show the world that he's a heavyweight ready to step up, I don't know. The word is he is going to step up, possibly against the Witherspoon or somebody of that ilk. He's shown what he has always shown, Michael Grant. Flashes of very good form and flashes of fire, but not a sustained effort of that. There's a good hook to the body by Grant. Why on earth? And he has a good... Why wouldn't he throw that double left hook more often in this bout? I can't even imagine why. Strategically, in truth, this fight was a mess for Michael Grant. Only his better physical ability and power got him through this fight. Because strategically, he messed it up big time, or he did, or his corner did, somebody did. They don't know how to fight lefties, and he doesn't know how to fight a lefty, but he got through.
Every time Grant lands a couple of good shots, he relaxes and stops throwing punches. Final 38 seconds of the bout.
Break clean. Let him up.
Now it looks as if Jeff Wooden will not be able to pull this one out with a knockout. In fact, he's the one that's been rocked a little bit here in the 10th round.
Cannot be saved by the bell in any round. That's it. Crowd on their feet. You see Buddy McGirt in the background, former champion, rooting on Jeff Wooden. Mike Grant, did he win it? We'll find out what the judges thought. Mike Grant and Jeff Wooden from Albany as ESPN's championship boxing continues. In Albany, the Pepsi Arena. Good heavyweight bout between Mike Grant on the right and Jeff Wooden on the left. Let's find out what the judges thought. Here's our ring announcer, Paul Lafleur.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards in this. Judge Chick Hill scored the fight 96-95 for Wooden. Judge Don Ackerman saw the fight 96-94 for Grant. And Judge Winkins viewed the fight 97-93 for the winner by split decision, Mike Grant.
Mike Grant, a winner on a split decision, Al. I had it 97-94 in favor of Grant with him taking the last 4 rounds.
I thought that 97-93 score was pretty close. I certainly didn't think Wooden won. The fans here kind of booing. I think they are rewarding Jeff Wooden for his effort, and but even in his own corner, they said to him, you got to knock him out to win. And in the last 2 rounds, he got soundly beaten by Grant, so no reason to boo this one.
Jeff Wooden suffers his 3rd professional loss. Michael Grant goes to 23-0 with a split decision. Our main event to come, but when we come back, Ringside Report with Al Bernstein, the latest on boxing on ESPN.
Consider the path